is our universities. If all of us here were, if we were all of us as a country to speak the truth, by 2022, many universities could not pay lecturers. That's the truth. Many universities were paying lecturers half salary. In fact, the debts in our universities was upwards of 60 billion shillings. They couldn't pay suppliers, they couldn't pay. Because what did we do? We said as government, we are going to give scholarship to all the students, 80%. The parents pay 20%. But 80% was something like 80 billion every year. As government, we didn't have 80 billion. So we gave universities 45 billion. So what happened? The universities did not have the money to run the courses, and therefore the whole thing ran into a gridlock. And so when I came into office, I said, we must solve this problem. Because continuing this way means two things. The universities are either going to close down or they are going to compromise on the education they are teaching our children. Because if you do not have the resources to run the course, either you are stretching one teacher, or sometimes you cut down on the number of courses, or sometimes you don't have to go to as many lab sessions as you should, or sometimes you don't have to go to as many practical because you don't have the money. And I sat down with vice chancellors, and they told me, Mr. President, unless something changes, these universities, we are unable to run them. And they went through many meetings with the Professor Munavu task force, which I had set up. And finally, they recommended the new funding model. And just so that you know, what we have done to increase the number of teachers by 56,000, to increase the number of our tutors in TVET by another 2,000, and to enhance resources for the new funding model. We spend an extra 127 billion on top of what we have been spending before. I have increased the budget for our education by 127 billion. Because otherwise, we would be having the serious challenges we have in our universities. Many of the kids in our primary schools and secondary schools would have very few teachers, and many of our students in our TVETs would not have as much or as many tutors.